Guys, I am never picking against Khamzat Chimaev ever again because, simply put, that was one of the most one-sided performances I've ever seen in a championship level. Uh, I'm not really gonna waste my time on an intro. I'm just gonna break down what happened in every single one of these fights. I'm pretty sure you guys already know what happened, but if you don't, now you know. So, with that being said, I'm gonna break down every single fight. Starting off with the main event, we got Dricus du Plessis versus Hamza Chimaev. Yeah, so I really believed in the DDP plot armor. Like, I was thinking, like, hey, Hamza Chimaev goes into the third round. We might actually see some tomfoolery and some shenanigans out of DDP. That did not happen. This was a one-sided beatdown. Hamza Chimaev just ragdolled Dricus du Plessis for like 4.5 rounds. All right, the fifth round, like ADP did get some plot armor off, but by then it was a little bit too late, and he wasn't really able to land anything impactful during that round. So it was a very, I don't want to say unfortunate, all right, but it was very not what I expected. All right, so Hamza Chimaev, yeah, I'm never picking against him again. Like I always thought, like, Fluffy Hernandez will beat him. Or I was like, yeah, Drickus will find a way to fluke this in the fourth or fifth round. None of that happened. Hamza Chimaev just ragdolled DDP for 5 rounds straight, and he just did what he did. All right, there was no cardio drop. All right, I thought that Hamza's cardio wasn't gonna sustain through 5 rounds. Like we've seen him gas in the third round and against Gilbert Burns. We've seen him gas in the third round against Kamaru Usman, who took the fight on like 11 days notice. Actually, no, Chimaev won the third round. All right, but either way, it wasn't like he was really putting on the same pace like he did against DDP for 5 rounds straight. So, congrats to Hamza Chimaev and Hamza Chimaev fans. DDP, uh, listen, I still like him. All right, I still think he's goofy and fun to watch. All right. Now, I'm not gonna call Chimaev boring because if anything, I'm gonna fault the performance on DDP. EDP really didn't know what to do from side control crucifix. Like, I don't understand how Hamza Chimaev can have DDP in the same position like 4 times and DDP couldn't figure anything out. But I guess that's the difference in skill level. But yeah, Chimaev, yeah, I don't know who beats him. Mavov? Hell no. Uh I was gonna say Hernandez, but I don't even believe that anymore. So yeah, every time Hamza Chimaev fights, if it's at least more than once a year, I'm probably gonna pick Khamzat Chimaev to win. All right, now up next we got Leroy Murphy versus Aaron Pico. This was actually an insane performance by Leroy Murphy. Now Aaron Pico was actually doing really well. All right, he was doing better than what I expected. I thought Pico, he was just gonna look like a stumbling, bumbling fool, and eventually Leroy Murphy's gonna pick him apart as the fight progresses. But no, that's not what happened. Aaron Pico was just kind of trying to bully Leroy Murphy down. But then at the end of the first round, or towards the end of the first round, Leroy Murphy hit a spinning back elbow and knocked Aaron Pico out cold. All right, hats off to Leroy Murphy. I could definitely see the UFC giving Leroy Murphy a title shot before Evloev at this point because UFC is not very fond of Evloev, and I don't know. It's not like that many people are demanding for Evloev title shots. Like I know I made a video a couple of months ago about how like the UFC is doing Leroy Murphy injustice, but like it's not like I really want to see Evloev get a title shot. I just said if there's the option between Evloev and Yair only, I would prefer Evloev. All right, but I don't really want Evloev to get a title shot. So I guess if Leroy Murphy gets one, I'm not gonna complain. But if Evloev gets one, which he should, right? I guess merit to Movsar Evloev, I guess. But regardless, Leroy Murphy, I think he's gonna be in talks for at bare minimum a title elimination bout after this. And as for Aaron Pico and all these Bellator bombs, other than MVP, which we'll talk about later. Never put them on like the co-main event. Never put them on the feature fight of a pay-per-view. Right? They're simply not ranked caliber UFC fighters. Like I know Patricio Pitbull beat Dan Ige, but like it was a shitty ass fight. So who cares? But either way, Leon Murphy, he got his own Leon Edwards moment. All right, but instead of a uh flukish head kick, Leon Murphy timed a beautiful spinning elbow. So hopefully Leroy Murphy can replicate something like that in the near future for his future fights. All right, now up next we got Jeff Neal versus Carlos Prates. We all love CP, right? Like all right, everyone watching this video loves CP. And yeah, I think Carlos Prates is absolutely nasty. He actually salvaged his hype back, and I don't know. I'm actually kind of pissed now that Ian Gary beat him. Because if Carlos Prates beat Ian Gary, like we would have been actually talking about him potentially getting a title shot. I guess Ian Gary's good. Fucking no, man. He beat Jeff Neal as well, so it's like it's not exactly I can't call it a fluke. Like Ian Gary's actually a very skilled fighter. But anyways, Carlos Prates, he was doing a good job managing distance a lot better against Jeff Neal. I guess Ian Gary just output max and like kind of overwhelmed Carlos Prates because I think Prates still has the habit of just like putting his hands out in order to defend shots. But Jeff Neal wasn't able to reach Carlos Prates, and Prates was doing a good job just picking apart on the outside. And I think towards the end of the first round, right, literally like with 2 seconds left, Carlos Prates, I think both guys were trying to go in, and then Prates just made a feint and then got another spinning elbow KO. Back to back spinning elbow KOs on a main card of a pay per view is absolutely insane. But yeah, shout out to CP over here. We are back on the CP hype train, and all right, will be watching CP highlights from now on. So yeah, congrats to Carlos Prates. All right, now up next we got Jared Cannonier versus Michael Venom Page. I have no idea how to critique this fight, I guess. All right, now this fight kind of went just about as what I expected because although I love Jared Cannonier, he's incredibly slow compared to Michael Venom Page. And that was kind of the story of the fight. MVP just didn't give him like anything to work with. Like Cannonier, every time he tried to push up and like push forward, like MVP. You're just so far away from Jared Cannonier, and whenever Cannonier did try to mount some offense, like MVP was doing a good job, just slipping and then getting back to the center of the cage. He was using his footwork really well, and Cannonier really wasn't able to find the chin of MVP. The first 2 rounds, MVP was trying to just rage baiting Jared Cannonier. Like I think he dropped Canonir at one point, and at one point he hit a 1-2, but Cannoneer was stumbled, and then Michael Venom Page used that opportunity to push Cannoneer. That's actually pretty smart if you think about it, because like I initially thought that was like a knockdown, and I don't know, it looks very good like optics wise. So like yeah, Michael Venom Page like crazy fight IQ at least in the striking. But yeah, towards the third round, I believe, like Jarek Cannonier was able to get his takedowns. He was able to hold MVP up against the fence, and he was able to try to secure some sort of dominant position. But unfortunately, I already knew this about Cannonier. He doesn't really have an extensive submission game. It's not like Cannonier was known for his wrestling in the first place. Like he doesn't really wrestle, right? Like Cannonier, he just kind of uses his wrestling when the striking isn't working at all. So Jared Cannonier, by the time he was able to take Michael Venom Page down, it was a little bit too late. And ultimately, Cannonier wasn't able to do enough in the third round to get the finish. So Michael Venom Page wins this fight 29-28. I don't know how to describe Michael Venom Page's style because, like, I think on the feet, like, he's the most awkward guy to fight. Like, I would be really pissed if I had to fight someone like Michael Venom Page. Like, I don't know if you guys know this guy, Kyle O'Hare, like the guy who does like the Gen Z emotes after he wins his fights. Like MVP is basically the OG version of that. And I would, if I were a fighter, I would hate to fight Michael Venom Page because he would just piss me off so much, and I'll eventually get flag need or some bullshit like that. But yeah, I guess congrats to Michael Venom Page. I think Michael Venom Page is the only guy who's found like success in the UFC because after this win, I think he's like within the top 7 of the middleweight division. Like that's more than what any Bellator fighter has done recently. Like I know Chandler did it back in the day, but like I don't know, how is he looking right now? Chandler's on like a 3 fight losing streak? No, 5 fight losing streak. But yeah, I guess congrats to Michael Venage. He's the only Bellator guy that actually kind of stands out right now. So good job at least representing Bellator because none of the other guys who come from Bellator can. Right now, up next, we got Tim Elliott versus Kaya Asakura. Now, I went with Kaya Asakura because I watched Tim Elliott fight like a long time ago, and I'm thinking like he's very open, right? Turns out that didn't matter at all. Tim Elliott literally ate a flush head kick against Kaya Sakura in the first round and was like, oh, it's a free leg. Let me just high crotch him and take him down. I don't know how that's even possible, but Tim Elliott just did that, coming off a 2-year layoff at like 39 years old. And Tim Elliott just the first round, Kaya Segura was doing his thing. He was outstriking Tim Elliott, but in the last few seconds, like I said, Tim Elliott ate a flush head kick and took Kaya Segura down. And the second round, Tim Elliott was playing around on the feet, but then this time he actually shot his takedown a lot sooner and just ragdoll Kaya Sakura for a mounted guillotine. Yeah, Kaya Sakura, I think the project's failed. All right. If you're losing to Tim Elliott in 2025, and don't get me wrong, Tim Elliott's not a bad loss, but yeah, it just kind of shows that you're not like ranked caliber because like anyone who's like Tim Elliott's basically like the Neil Magny or like it was like oh yeah, the Dan Ige. Like he's that kind of gatekeeper. And if you can't beat Tim Elliott, then kind of shows that you're not like ranked caliber in the flyweight division. I don't know. I don't know what you do with Kaya Sakura at this point. Like, do you send him back to Ryzen? Either way, Ryzen just looks really bad off this because Kaya Sakura was their champion. But hey, Tim Elliott actually gets it done. He's on a 2 fight win streak in 2025. I never thought I'd say that, but yeah, here we are. Tim Elliott wins, so congrats to him. All right, now moving on, we got Bisangar Susurkaya versus Eric Nolan. Now, I think Bisangar Susurkaya, I think a lot of people are giving him a lot of crap because keep in mind this guy literally fought like 4 days before this fight. And yes, Eric Nolan's a welterweight. Yes, the UFC set this fight up as kind of a layup fight. Yes, Eric Nolan was initially looked at as a scrub, but I think Eric Nolan is a lot better than people initially gave him credit for. Like I know he has an ugly record of like 8-4 right now, but he actually showed us some good things. Like his boxing was actually pretty solid. And as for Bisangar Sarkayev, his boxing's pretty weak. Like he just kind of stays still with his high guard. That's what I noticed about Sarkayev. So I think I don't know what his ceiling's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be ranked caliber right now, but he's like what 24 years old. So I think he has a lot of time to improve. The middleweight division, it's not known for like young guys, like young prospects. So Susarkayev, he's still a young prospect, so I think I don't know, give him like 2 years with training with Khamzat Chimaev. I think he'll sharpen up his game a lot better. But yeah, the first round though, Eric Nolan was actually jabbing the fuck out of Bisangar's face, and Eric Nolan, I don't know. He just had the cleaner combinations. He was ripping to the body a lot. He just mixed his shots in better. Like Susurkayev, like he had his moments. I think he landed a partially blocked head kick. He was able to land a few takedowns against Eric Nolan in the first round. But I thought that Eric Nolan won the first round. But then in the second round, Susurkayev started chopping at Eric Nolan's leg, and I think Nolan's leg gave out. Like I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was kind of a fluke because think Sursurkayev hit Eric Nolan's knee, right? And typically, I think the knee is stronger than the foot, right? Unless it hits some perennial nerve type stuff, which I don't really know. I'm not a doctor, but yeah, I think after Sursurkayev threw a second leg kick in the second round, Eric Nolan's leg gave out, and he couldn't really do anything other than stay on bottom. And from there, Sursurkayev was able to get dominant position, take it back, and eventually choke him out with a rear naked choke. So yeah, good win from Susakayev. Again, I'm not gonna criticize him too much because he did fight like just last week against I forgot that guy's name from the Dynamite Contender Series, Kalzahar or whatever. But yeah, either way though, Susakayev wasn't the dominant performance that everyone was expecting. But hey, I think Eric Nolan's better than we thought. So give Eric Nolan another chance in the UFC as well. And as for Susakayev, just build him up. All right. Don't chuck him into like a Gregory Rodriguez fight right away because I think he would lose to Gregory Rodriguez. But yeah, other than that though, he looked pretty solid in my opinion. All right, now up next we got Gerald Mirshard versus Mikhail Olasechuk. This was actually a really good fight from Mikhail Olasechuk. Now, I thought that Mikhail Olasechuk was just gonna be a fish out of water once this fight hit the ground, but this fight never hit the ground. Gerald Mirshard. Now, I'm not gonna say this was the primary reason why Mikhail Olasechuk won. But Gerald Mirshard looked slow as fuck, right? Yeah, I think I gotta start considering the fact that GM3, although he's the GOAT, he's like what, 38 years old from now on. And all of his takedown attempts look very labored, and Mikhail Osachik was doing a good job just like stuffing the head first and just not getting taken down. And on the feet, GM3, kind of a victim. Like he kept getting hit with the overhand left every time Gerald Mearshart tried to throw a lazy jab because Mikhail Osachik's the much faster fighter, and Olasechuk just beat the crap out of GM3. It was kind of a sad performance because I was kind of rooting for GM3, you know, the GOAT in the third round, the greatest fighter of all time if he gets to the third round. Unfortunately, he couldn't do his thing, and he just got knocked down in the first round. So great job for Mikhail Osachuk. Sucks for Gerald Mearshart, though. All right, now up next we got Jessica Andrade versus Lupi Godinez. I have a very mixed opinion about this because I thought that Jessica Andrade won this fight. Now, I may be talking from bias because of the third round, which I'll get to later, but I understand that Lupi Godinez won the first round. The second round, I thought Jessica Andrade outlanded Lupi Godinez. Now, the third round, Jessica Andrade beat the shit out of Lupi Godinez. There was nothing Godinez could really do to stop the pressure of Jessica Andrade. But yeah, I just thought that Jessica Andrade did more than Lupi Godinez. So I don't know. I maybe I'd have watched this fight back one more time. I watched this back like 3 times though. And like yes, the first round Lupi Godinez did a good job. But the second and third round, she was kind of slowing down. She was getting into a little bit of a bar fight. And in a bar fight, Jessica Andrade is pretty hard to beat because she just trudges forward and she'll just keep throwing shots. And there's no like that much fatigue in Jessica Andrade. So yeah, I thought Andrade won. I guess they gave it to Lupi Godinez because she's a new face in the strawweight division. And plus Jessica Andrade just fought nearly everybody. Like, who do you give her after she uh quote unquote fraud checks Lupi Godinez? I kind of get it from the UFC's perspective, but I just thought that Andrade won this fight. Alright, now up next we got Chase Super versus Alexander Hernandez. The Gooner is down, right? Alexander Hernandez just knocked out Chase Hooper in the first round. A bit of an early stoppage, like, and I only say this because there was like 2 seconds left on the clock. I feel like Chase Hooper could have survived 2 seconds, right, from that position. But yeah, towards the end of the round, Alexander Hernandez, I think he landed a 1-2, clipped him with the left hand, and then like Chase Super goes down, and before you know it, Chase Super, he's just kind of on his knees trying to wrestle, but Alexander Hernandez just kept wailing on ground and pound shots. Like again, like any other ref, I think would have let that go. Right? Am I mad about the stoppage? No, not necessarily. I understand why, but I feel like you could have let that go because there was like 2 seconds on the clock. But either way, congrats to Alexander Hernandez. I didn't think he was gonna win this fight. I thought Chase Super was gonna take him down and ragdoll him because Hernandez literally went life or death with Kurt Holoba. And Chase Super is like miles above Kurt Holoba in the jiu-jitsu. So is Jordan Love. So yeah, I thought once this fight hits the ground, Chase Super is gonna do his thing. But Chase Hooper wasn't able to do his thing. And Alexander Hernandez on the feet. I was wrong. He was the much better fighter on the feet. So yeah, congrats to Alex Hernandez. Chase Super. Listen, it's tough, but I think he'll bounce back. And I don't know, just give him an approachable matchup, and I think we can build him up against once more. All right, now up next we got Edson Barbosa versus Drakkar Close. This was a very frustrating fight because I knew that if Edson Barbosa was like 2 years younger, he would have whooped the shit out of Drakkar Close. The first round, Drakkar Close kind of just held Edson Barbosa up against the cage, just landing a bunch of pitter patter shots, stomping on the legs, uh, just kneeing to the body. Nothing really impactful, but Drakkar Close was just doing more in the clinch in the first round. The second round, I think Edson Barbosa was trying to do some stuff again. Like, I think he was getting the better of the clinches up against the fence. But the third round, Drakkar Close kind of just weared on Edson Barbosa. Like, I don't know. If Edson Barbosa, again, if he was 2 years younger, maybe 3 years younger, this wouldn't even be a close fight. But I think Uncast to retire at this point. Because, like, Edson Barbosa, he's just not himself at this point. And it's not a knock on him. It's just that he's like 39, 40 years old. So, although Drakkar Close won, I knew if like this was like 35-year-old Edson Barbosa, he would have whooped the shit out of Drakkar Close. So, I don't know. As much as I don't want to trash Drakkar Close's win, this was kind of a letdown of a performance because I don't know. If Drakkar Close was gonna win, I thought he was gonna do more. All right, I thought it was gonna be more one-sided than a very close fight. All right, moving on, we got Korean Silva versus Dion Merbosa. Yeah, I didn't really watch this fight, right? Now, I heard from a lot of people that DC's commentating was just obnoxious because apparently Korean Silva was doing more damage. It's just that Dion Barbosa like won the wrestling exchanges and was trying to DC was trying to paint a narrative that Dion Barbosa was winning the fight. Like, I guess that sounds like DC. I don't know, maybe I'll watch this fight in the future, but from the sounds of things, this isn't a fight to really watch. So I'm not really gonna watch it unless you guys suggest to do so in the comments. And last but not least, we got the tough finale. Uh, Alibi Idiris versus Joseph Morales. Now, I did not know this. Joseph Morales, I think he was a former UFC fighter. So he kind of showed levels to this game. Now, I fully believed in Alibi Adirus because he's from Kazakhstan. He's undefeated. He's got that Shavkat like aura. But unfortunately, he just lost all of it by getting absolutely ragdolled by Joseph Morales. Joseph Morales, like, on the feet, he was doing better than Alibi Adirus, too. So, I don't know how good Joseph Morales was back in the day, right? I know he got cut. I don't know if he was that good, but to see him back in the UFC, I guess that's a feel good story. As for Alibi Adiris, kind of sucks because again I thought he was gonna carry on the Shavkat uh Kazakhstani aura, but turns out not many Kazakhstani fighters in the UFC can. Like we have Shavkat and we have Beksat Almakhan, but the rest of them they haven't shown anything spectacular. Like Asu Amabayev, PR Nergaje, and now Alibi Adiris. Oh, Nikola, also Nikolai Veretnikov, or whatever his name is. But yeah, either way though, Kazakhstan, I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a letdown because I expected a lot more fighters like Shavkat to come, but I guess Shavkat's a one-on-one fighter. All right, which is why he's gonna be the UFC champion. And yes, this is just blatant Shavkat propaganda that I'm gonna end this with. But yeah, there's nothing really much to talk about. All right, that's gonna be it for this recap. Again, very solid fight card. Main event kind of was a letdown, but at the same time, I'm not really gonna blame Hamza for that. I'm gonna blame Drickus because he doesn't know how to get out of a side control crucifix for 25 minutes. But yeah, other than that though, leave a comment down below what you guys thought. And until tomorrow, yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, peace.